Hey, you fucks. Thanks for, checking out the videos, showing a little bit of support. How about you take it to the next level and show us some love over there on Patreon, huh? Huh? Huh?
Yo, 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 what the fuck is up there, everybody out there on the YouTube Georgia Good Boy Papa Yo, coming to you live from another hot sexual rant. Oh, dude, I'm so proud of myself. I'm still doing these, it's still in the middle of the winter time when I'm recording these, so, as a countermeasure for, I'm going outside and stuff, just not as often because it's fucking cold. God, it's gotten to the point now where it's just like, it's not just cold, but it's like windy cold, and then like the sun doesn't come out fully until like later on in the morning. So when you go outside, like especially in the city, like the shadows from the buildings just make everything colder, and like because wind is when hot air and cold air like hit each other, right? Like that's how it gets formed. So from what I remember, but yeah, so it's like the cold air from the shadows of the buildings plus like the hot sun hitting down just creates wind. It's not fun. But anyway, yeah, so we're recording these rants in the morning. It's good, and it is, ma'am. Yeah, guys, today's rant topic is really funny. It's called like I don't know, the starting fights or something, or how to start a fight. It's so funny because I made like a series of videos or video topics just based on like pictures I found on the internet, and I'm like, I could talk about something like that for an hour and like stuff around that for an hour. And I don't know, there's something ever since that honey badger video became like super viral or whatever, where it's like, this is the honey badger, he's pretty badass. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. I'll put that, I'll probably put that as the title of this video, or like I'll put it at the beginning or end of this video for that, so you guys can see it. But I love that video, and I didn't even know what a honey badger was until I saw that video. But I love the thumbnail for this video being like, this meeting could have been a fist fight. Like I don't know, it just reminds me of like like some well-to-do douchebag being like, you know what, we could have had a productive talk right now, but your aggressive energy ruined whatever productivity, like whatever kind of positive outcomes could have come from this one meeting. It's because of you and your aggressive behavior and your nonchalantness about not taking anything seriously. Like, it just reminds me of something like that. So it's like, this meeting could have been a fist fight. And I kept pushing you, but you did not react, and this is your fault. It's like, I don't know. Irony is funny, and if there's any animal that probably like has that as like their personality trait, it's definitely the fucking honey badger. I just love that. Just like the honey badger, he just doesn't give a fuck. He just starts shit all the time for no reason. It's like, honey badger, why you always start shit? And he's like, cause fuck you, that's why. I don't need to justify myself to you. I'm black and white, and I'm a little chunky, and I can take cobra bites to the face, and it don't matter. None of this matters. But yeah, I don't know. I want to spiel about random shit today. Yeah, so like we're gonna get into that. And hello everybody in the premiere chat, by the way. For the last couple ones, I did not acknowledge the people in the premiere chat, not because they didn't want to, just because simply I forgot to. So hello everybody, how are you doing? Are you feeling sexy today? I know I'm feeling sexy. I just took a nice hot gay bath the night before, and I'm wearing all these nice fresh clothing. I took some CBD gummies last night that I bought off Amazon during Black Friday sale. Hell yeah. So it wasn't a big discount, but it was good enough, so I appreciate it. And yeah, I just had like a solid sleep last night. And I don't know, it's so funny because like my bathroom, it has a fan, but it just doesn't work, and I'm too lazy to fucking get it fixed. But I don't know, it's great. So like I go to bed, and my apartment gets really dry at night, so having the fan on is like I have all these like little tiny USB fans I bought from like Amazon for the summer that I can take around with me, because I don't know, I just like having circulated air go in my face when it's hot. But anyway, I just had to put that in the bathroom and then just like leave it on. And like these things are great. The battery stays on all night. And yeah, by the time I wake up, like I don't have to worry about stepping in water or anything because it's all dried up. In summer, it's different. In summer, it's humid, so it takes a lot longer to dry it. But I realized that when I actually closed the windows from my place, you know, when I was in college, like the bathroom would smell so bad, like mold, because we didn't properly ventilate it enough. And it's like now I know, now I know better. And so yeah, it's like, but if you have like a naturally kind of like dry apartment or whatever, then having your bathroom door open with just a fan going, it's really gonna, I don't know, you leave it on overnight and then close the door to your bedroom so you don't feel that cold air. And yeah, it's good. But anyway, I'm rambling on a little bit. It's already past the 4-minute point, so let me let me do self-promo shout out. Hey guys, I don't make any money off of these videos, and if you really like my stuff and you want to help contribute to more videos and more YouTube stuff, then do me a favor, go over to patreon.com/TKOSam. I've spent, I don't know, I spent like a good portion of December making content and preparing all this stuff for that cool website where you can get bonus stuff related to my YouTube channel. There's behind the scenes stuff, there's blogs, there's Japanese lessons for all of you guys who ever wanted to learn Japanese. I also offer consultations for anybody who wants to move over to Japan. I'm not like a professional at any of this, but I feel like, you know, if I can look up this stuff and maybe you're just too lazy or you haven't looked up this stuff, or maybe you're just like too over, you know, you're overthinking too much or you're oversaturating. What is it? It's like, it's always, I feel like a lot of people are intimidated because there's so much information out there. They don't know what portions to cut down or chunk down to get to the real info. And sometimes they just need somebody to help them along the way. But anyway, regardless, yeah, all that stuff's available on patreon.com/TKOSam. And also, you get your name at the end of these videos. Isn't that cool? And yeah, big shout out to everybody who joins and becomes a member on this channel. Like, I want to start shouting out members more for these channels and stuff. So, like, I have like 2 tiers. And so, for the people that join the 2nd tier from now on, I'm going to be putting them, like, I'll put their names at the end of the Patreon stuff too. And yeah, I don't know, it's awesome. Thank you guys. Every single time I get more members for each channel, they open up more emoji slots, and I've been making custom emoji slots. I haven't updated them for ADVJapan yet, but I want to update them for here too, because it's great. We got like all these new emojis. Like, we got Jim, my buddy Jim, who's ex Air Force. And we've got him saluting, so it's like whenever somebody donates, we can say like thank you for your service to Jim, and then like we've got Coffee Talk saying hi, so that could be like the hi. I don't know, it's a fun way to engage with the premieres and with the live streams. And yeah, and also it helps out the channel, you know, like all the money that you guys put in here, it just goes back into making YouTube stuff, and it's fun, it's good. So what is it, like helping me out, you know, it's we as in I really appreciate it. There's this one guy called the realjapanchannel.com or something, and he always says, hi guys, you know, we over here, you know, you're really helping us out. And I'm like, motherfucker, it's just you and your phone. Like, there's nobody, you don't have like an organization, your wife's not helping with the videos, it's just you. So like when you're like, we really appreciate it over there, I don't know, it just sounds like kind of convoluted. Not convoluted, but it's like head up the ass kind of thing, you know? It's like, are you talking about like we in the car, or like the royal we, like I? But anyway, yeah, point is, thank you guys for that. And also, don't forget to hit the like button, smash the like button, and leave a comment. And I guess the comment of the day is just, I don't know. I mean, like, have you ever gotten into a fight? Today, I kind of want to talk about fights and then just, like, mental shit and stuff, too. I kind of want to ramble about some stuff I watched recently. And, you know, hear your guys' thoughts on it as well, your feedback on it. Yeah, and it's so funny because I just chose this background video on a whim just because I needed an hour-long video, and this is about, I think, an hour and a half or 2 hours, and I was like, okay, Silent Hill beat 'em up fan game that somebody made, and I'm like, okay, cool, let's do that. And but you know, like when you see videos like this and they're at like full speed, you gotta like it's too distracting, so I purposely like slowed it down and I zoomed it in so it's kind of distorted, so it's like you guys can still focus on what I'm saying more than the video. I don't know, I thought it was I thought it matched the theme of today, you know. Here, let me get some coffee here. Oh, I like it. Oh, it's good. It's good, yeah. Yeah, you know, yeah, so smash like button, leave a comment, and we'll probably do a live stream after this video too. So, stay tuned for that. And, yeah, you know, it's like, anyway, what am I trying to get at in here? So, yeah, I just got done, like, watching this 1-hour video from this woman. What was the title of the video? It says, what was it named? Because, like, this wasn't, like, the intended, like, I wasn't going to talk about this for, like, this. I was just going to talk about, like, how to avoid fights and de-escalate stuff, but it was interesting, so I wanted to, like, mention it at least. There was this video called, How Sociopaths Work, Authorized Account Insider. And yeah, and so it's like, you know, it's, it was a really interesting video because it's like this woman's like, I'm a psychologist and I'm also a sociopath and I'm a woman and it's ma'am. But, I don't know, it's just, it basically, like, the whole video is just like, look, they reclassify like psychological terms all the time to give them either like a broader spectrum or to like lessen the evil like relations, or like what is it, like what people say about that kind of thing, right? And so but yeah, I mean, like, overall she's like saying, like, you know, like what a sociopath is like for like a normal person perspective versus like the evil, like, implicated version that's on, like, that's in media and stuff, and like how to differentiate that. And you know, like in the past, like I've had like people that don't know me, and the, like, you know, and it was like 2 people, like, you know, like whatever, it doesn't matter, right? But it reminded me of like when Simon and Martina broke up, who were like big YouTubers, right? And it's like Simon and Martina were this couple that like had, like, they were so, I don't know how to say, it's like you really love it when you see a couple, or like just see people that like get it, you know, they know who they are, they know what they want, and they're going after it with like sincerity and like all their heart kind of thing, and you're rooting for them because like you wish you could be like a complete person like them someday. And like it was really admirable, you know, because you see all these other vloggers and sometimes they're not vulnerable, or if they are, they're obviously doing it for attention. Like, you know, you see any white girl fucking, I mean, I don't want to blanket statement that, but like it's usually typically white women be like, I was really dealing with my anxiety today and blah 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 blah, but like they make that their whole online personality, and it's just like you're just milking something, or like you're really like having a bad time and you're like, this is how you cope with it, by like sharing it online with friends. I don't know. But anyway, Simon and Martina, like, they were this really like cool couple that a lot of people, including me, looked up to. And you know, when they broke up randomly, you know, like 1 year, it's just like, oh my god, they broke up. Simon left Japan and Martina left Japan temporarily, and then she came back to Japan and Simon moved to Europe. And you know, like, Simon didn't say, like, anything, right? Like, he was, you know, it's funny because I've made 2 videos about this, right, already for the rants, long time ago. It's like, Simon and Martina, why they really broke up. And, like, it was just me giving a, like, you know, assuming opinion piece on this shit, right? But, you know, it's just like, when they broke up, Simon wasn't saying anything publicly, you know, but Martina was just, it seemed like she was playing what do you call it, like pick 'em up, like recovery or something. Like she was going on the offensive and being like, yeah, like, you know, like she wasn't saying he was like a narcissistic sociopath or something, but it's like he, you know, like, but she was saying when you deal with people like that, and it's like she's obviously inferring that's him, right? And it's like, hey, have you guys gone to therapy? Have you been properly diagnosed? Like, one thing that always pisses me off is like when people, they just throw away, like they throw terms like that out there, and it's like, okay, so you've studied this stuff, like you really know about the nuances and everything, like you've spent like days, months, like, you know, fucking learning about this. It's like, no, I just Googled it and blah 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 blah. Anyway, I mean, the whole point is like I've had people that like I like stopped being friends with or something, and they like to throw that around, and it's like those people, some of them knew me really well, but some of them didn't, and like a lot of them didn't. But it's just like they needed a justification for why they didn't like me, where it was they were in the right, they were completely in the right, they were the victim, and I was the evil bad man, you know. And it's like, so they had to like say a term or something. And like most of the time, these people had never even met me. Like, you know, like that when I think about it, like all these people, they just like, they see the stuff in the videos, and then they just jump to a conclusion, right? And I don't know, it offends me because I had to go to like therapy for like what, like probably over 10 years, you know. And when I was younger, like when I was younger, I did have like problems with authority, and I did have anger, but I probably went to multiple therapists and stuff because like my mom was like, she was a teacher, but also she was like a therapist, and like her degree was in psychology, and so like, you know, like she wanted to like understand her kids or whatever, and not once out of all the fucking therapists that I went to said that I was a sociopath or that I had sociopathic tendencies. And like, if it's only one therapist that says that, I'm not gonna, you know, like, I'm like, no, I want a second opinion. But this is like multiple therapists that are saying it. So it's like there's random people out there that barely know me saying shit, when it's like, nah, this person, they've been studying that for a while, and they've been, you know, dealing with people for a while, and they said I'm not. So like, but I mean, I guess the whole point that I'm kind of rounding about, like from talking about random shit like that to this, is that I think everybody to a certain extent has like sociopathic, psychopathic tendencies, and that's why a lot of people love to root for characters that are kind of like that, you know. Like that's why they love rooting for like Dexter. That's why they really like rooting for you know, like Nightcrawler, like the guy in Nightcrawler, or like Tom Cruise in Collateral, or like Patrick Bateman, you know. But you know, the thing is that like these characters, they're always like an aspect, or like they have certain traits of like sociopathy, I don't know, sociopathy or psychopathy. But the thing is that they're not like, but it's not like a full-on definition version of that. Like, because the thing is about sociopaths is that they, it's like the Tony Soprano thing, like they can learn, they can adapt, and usually like they develop that stuff because of the way that they had to interact and they had to deal with stuff from the beginning of their life. You know, it's like kind of their coping mechanism for like dealing with trauma kind of thing, right? But psychopaths are people that like they just have no emotional connection to anything. Like there's something like biologically wrong with them, and no amount of therapy will change that. Like, you know, they're literally built different, and like you can't like even with medication you just can't change it, right? And yeah, I mean, it always makes me wonder, like the whole nature versus nurture thing, right? Like, you know, like are they formed or are they just fucked up from birth, right? It's like you see like the story of like Mike Myers or something, right? And it's like he wasn't abused or anything. It's just a movie character, right? But it's like he wasn't abused, nothing like bad really happened to him, but then he like kills his whole family kind of thing. But it's like then you look at like real life murderers and stuff, like for example, what was his name? Like, was it not the Zodiac killer? The guy who was like Richard Romero or something. I don't remember what specifically it was, but I mean, like the whole point is like you see these people, and they grew up being like antisocial and like horribly abused, and then it's like, oh, so like they like had a lot of that growing up, so then that's like, so they just kept continuing on the cycle, but they were the ones dishing it out kind of thing. And I don't know, it just makes me think. But I mean, the whole point is just like God, I keep saying like the whole point is, or like the point I'm getting to is like I think that What the hell is going on there? Oh, dude, he's actually fucking the thing. Oh, God. Try not to be distracted. He's, like, fighting. He's Streets of Rage fighting Pyramid Head. I don't know. It's just, it's interesting when you see people, because it's, like, apparently normal people are called neurodivergent, or neurotypical, right? Neurotypical, and then the people that aren't normal, they call them neurodivergent, right? And it's, like that woman during the talk or whatever, in that podcast or whatever, she's talking about how it's like, I've done nice things for people, but I never did it for, like, a euphoria kind of, like, feeling. Like, I don't really feel a lot of things, but I understand logically why it's a good thing, why it's a bad thing. And she's talking about, like, when she was a kid, you know, like, her parents would try to manipulate her and be like, if you don't do this, you know, your teacher's gonna be really sad if you don't do your homework. You don't want your teacher to be sad or, like, angry, right? And the little sister would be like, no, I don't want her to be angry. But it's like, she was saying that she's like, I saw through that bullshit, and she's like, I don't give a fuck what my teacher thinks, you know, like, I don't give a fuck about any of this stuff. But she knows that, like, if she acted out like that, if she said that, then she gets in trouble, then she gets put in isolation. So she just learned to like work around that, like, you know, manipulate the people, like, you know, like, just say what they wanted her to say, kind of thing. And I don't know, it's just like, but I think, aren't we all like that to a certain extent, right? Like, I was talking to Red Dog Rebel the other day, who's another Twitch streamer, and he's a very sexy man. Red Dog, I don't know if you're watching this, but you're very sexual. But anyway, he's like a buddy of mine. We've kept in touch, especially after he left Japan, because hopefully he's coming back. But yeah, anyway, he's this Canadian dude who he's like an international school teacher, and he's trying to get a job at an international school. But all these schools, they typically want to hire people that are already in Japan and have visas. So it's been kind of hard for him to find a job, like, while living abroad in Vietnam. And so anyway, it's just like, he was saying how he found this one job at this school, and they were very, like, coy about hiding the fact that they're a Christian school with him. And they were just being sketchy because I'm guessing they had problems with, like, teachers they hired in the past while saying they were outright Christian. So, like, they were trying to, like, inch their way towards, like, hinting that they were Christian school. And anyway, on the last, like, my, you know, Red Dog, he's following it, and he's doing all the things that they want to do because he needs a visa, right? But then finally, at the last part, they're, like, I guess when you join a international school, you have to sign... you have to, like, they have a handbook, like, you know, like a rules of conduct kind of thing of, like, what's to be expected from the teachers and the staff that work at the school, and, like, what the school objective is, kind of thing, you know? And he's like, normally when they send that, they send the contract, and at the same time, if it's a normal fucking international school, right? And they sent him only the handbook, and he's like, where's the contract? I need to look at the contract too. And they're like, well, we need you to make sure that you totally understand and grasp the concept of our school, and then if you agree to that, then we'll send you the contract to look over. And he was like, this is the last straw. I'm done playing, like, you know, along with you guys. This is stupid. Just, you know, like, this isn't how things are run. Just fucking, you know, like, can you, like, I mean, he didn't, this is just my version. He was a lot more polite about it, but it's like, can you just send me the fucking contract to check? Like, you're playing the game wrong, you know, blah, 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 blah. And anyway, and he's like, yeah, so they didn't do that, so I just called it quits after that. And I was like, dude, if you've been looking for jobs for, like, 6 months and nobody else replied to you, but this one place did, and, like, your intention already, like you admitted, was to just fucking work there for 6 months for the visa and then dip out by, like, the end of the school year. Because at least he was being nice. At least he's like, okay, well, you're going to hire me in the middle of the school year, and I'm just going to be there till the end of the school year or whatever. Then that's a nice thing for him to do, you know? Like, well, at least he's, like, being semi-nice. I mean, it's a dick move just to move there just for a visa, but, you know, it's just like, the whole point is like, he went through all of that stuff, and then he's just like, yeah, I don't care, like, whatever, fine, fuck this. And I was like, dude, they were gonna give you a visa, and he's like, well, they didn't even tell me about, like, a stipend or, like, a subsidy. like subsidizing like my apartment, like what do you call it, like a travel reimbursement program or like a rent reimbursement or whatever. He's like this, and I was like, dude, you've already understood through your interactions with them that this is not a typical like international school, but they're going to sponsor your visa, and it's always good to get experience working at working at an international school when you're trying to be a regular teacher is probably going to be a lot better to have experience teaching at a place that's that setting versus just like another regular English teacher, like a Kiowa teacher or ALT dude. And he was like, yeah, like, you know, but anyway, he was just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll become a Kiowa or like a ALT teacher instead or whatever. But you know, it's just for me, like my no bullshit, just get to the point kind of personality or whatever you want to call it. I would have been like, look, I mean, my priorities would be like to get out of Vietnam, go to Japan, and like as long as I can get along with the people at the school or whatever, and I can do what I want to do for the job, like teach the way I want to teach or whatever, and they pay me the amount that I want to be paid. I don't really care about the politics of it because, like, I'm going to be moving on. Like, the whole time I'm working that job, I'm going to be looking at other jobs. And, I don't know, it's just, like, people, they always, like, random anonymous people on the internet, like, they're always going to morally grandstand and be like, oh, I would have done better. I would have, like, you know, like, that's a real shit thing to do. Like, they're just like the Reddit guys the fedora-wearing Reddit guys who are in their, like, parents' house at 30. You know, like, well, I wouldn't do that. You know, I treat these, you know, slay queen, slay kind of thing. You know, it's always so nice to be like, I would not do this, but then it's like, shut up. You're just typing from your keyboard. You're not actually like this in real life. But yeah, it's just like, I'm just saying for him, it's, like, if he really wants, I guess the priority is that, like, he doesn't really care about getting out of Vietnam. He just wants to do his own thing kind of thing. And, I mean, he wants to do it, but, like, that's not a priority of getting out there immediately. Like, he wants to still kind of, like, search. I mean, he's not going to leave Vietnam until his work contract of that current school is finished, right? But I'm just saying it's like, you know, thanks to working at so many different places over the course of, like, being in Japan, like, I've met so many random people. I mean, I would say, I don't know if it's thousands, but I've definitely met hundreds of different people, like, especially foreigners that are living in Japan. And, like, some people, man, like, they could have graduated from the best school, they could be, like, super good looking or something, but it doesn't stop them from being pieces of shit. Like, there was this one guy I worked with at this vocational college, and he had graduated from, like, where? It wasn't Yale, but it was, like, Brown or some kind of, like, Ivy League school, but he was teaching at this, like, third-rate vocational college, and he was, like, a really attractive guy, and he got fired for, like, not even sleeping with one of the students, but, like, sleeping with, like, 2 or 3. I mean, like, this is a college, right? So it's all, like, legal age and stuff. But, like, and, like, when he got fired, he's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, whatever, you know? And I was like, dude, this place was nice enough to give you a fucking job. They pay you more than most English teaching places. And your response is like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, so, I mean, I don't know. It's just, like, I feel like, it's so black and white when you label somebody like a sociopath, because it seems like all of us have those tendencies. We just get to choose when they come out, you know? And then, like, oh, well, that came out that one time, but I'm not like that all the time, so it's okay. And it's like, I don't know, I feel like, if you are, like, this is one of the reasons why, like, I liked smoking weed when I was younger, is because, like, I don't typically feel things, you know? Like, I don't feel sad, I don't feel happy, I don't feel like I don't feel extreme bursts of emotion or, like, dopamine, if that makes sense. Like, I'm always usually, at least right now, like, especially because I'm taking the ADHD meds or whatever, like, at least right now, I feel, like, calm and centered, like, almost throughout the whole day, right? Like, I remember, like, Christopher Titus, in the show Titus, he was talking about how it's like, if you grow up in a dysfunctional household, yeah, you see the world differently. And it's like in a skit that he has, like, in the show, him and his brother are at the bank, and these bank robbers are like, hey, everybody get on the ground, you piece of shit, and everyone's like, oh no, and they all like get on the ground, and then him and his brother are just standing there, and he's like, what are you doing, Dave? Like, there's no line, go to the front. They're like, the bank robbers like, hey, do you even see us, what's going on? And it's like, I don't know, it's like throughout my life there have been times where people like freaked out, or they were just like, oh my god, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, and I was just calm, and I'm like, well, yeah, just don't worry about it, like, you know, like, we're gonna figure this out, but you being emotional and being scared is like not helping the situation, you know, like, we just gotta get through it. And like the woman in that podcast, she was talking about how it's like they do a thing called masking, where it's like you just pretend to be happy or you pretend to be sad or something, and I don't know, because it's like, if you're a psychopath or something, like, you feel, I don't know what they feel, but, like, they don't feel, like, a lot of different stuff, right? But if you're a sociopath, like, you feel stuff, but it's like, empathy is what they have problems with, and, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, what's the definition of it? It's like they don't feel guilty about things or something. They don't feel bad about stuff. And, you know, like, I was talking to Cracky Reeds about how, like, Cracky Reeds is another live streamer who's very fucking based and badass. And he hates communists. He always talks about how he hates fucking commies and stuff. But he talks about how he doesn't like therapy. And I think Cracky also had to go to therapy as a kid. And he's like, therapy is shit because you're basically paying somebody to care about you, and as soon as you can't pay anymore, they're like, oh, well, too bad, you know, good luck with that. And you're paying somebody to be indifferent emotionally, and not be emotionally invested in you for the problems that you're having. You're trying to get them to solve shit, and like, they don't, you know, it's like one of those things where it's like, you don't want your doctor to be emotionally involved. You want them to be as like, you know, what do you call it, like, neutral as possible, so they can give you a proper diagnosis or whatever, right? Like, and so, what the hell am I getting at here? It's like, being able to be neutral, like emotionally neutral most of the time, it really helps out. Like, it helps out a lot. And it's not like I don't feel love and stuff. It's just when I feel emotions, like, I feel them very strongly, and I don't like that. So I just try not to feel them, like, if that makes sense. Like I remember, and like, I don't want to, like, you know, I mentioned this during a live stream, how like, I don't really want to talk about, like, I don't want the content to be of like my mom dying or something, right? But it's like, the way that I don't feel things is just like, I emotionally distance myself from a lot of things. But like, for example, when like Roger Swan died, or like my mom died or something, like, I had to sit down and like go over all of this stuff, like all of our messages and like all this stuff and that I had sent to them, because it's like, I didn't, like, I wasn't feeling something because I'm so used to like distancing myself from that stuff, but it's like, I needed to feel this, like, you know, I needed to do it. And it's just, you know, it's like, and of course, like, cried like a little bitch, and like, it's ups and downs, like, you know, like, when somebody dies that was really important to you, it just comes in waves, you know, like, you'll have a thing where it's like, you'll just be walking around, and then all of a sudden you think about like something funny that reminds you about them, and you just like have to take a pause or whatever. And I'm one of those guys where it's like, I don't like to cry publicly, you know, like, I don't want people to see my face. I don't know why. I can't, I mean, like, maybe it's just I think crying shows weakness, and I don't want to show people my weakness or something. I don't know, but it's just, yeah, like, I don't like, I don't want to do that, right? So it's like, if I'm gonna cry or something, I try to like not do it when people are around, you know. But yeah, it's like, when I would smoke weed when I was younger, like, it would open up all those emotions, you know, like, I would feel very strongly about that stuff, and I'd be like, oh man, like, you know, like, I'd feel like, you know, like, it would block, or it would open up all those like blocked receptors I have or whatever to like feeling stuff again. And I don't know, it's just, it's weird, because it's like you know, when my mom died, like I got access to all these like documents and stuff about like her, and you know, like what she studied in college and whatever, and it's just like, she like I don't know, it's like, you know, like all of our parents, like everybody has issues growing up, right? They have their own stuff that they got to work through and shit. And like my mom, she didn't have like a typical fucked up like childhood or whatever, but there was like shit that like people shouldn't deal with, you know. And it's like I learned that like she was bipolar and stuff, and she studied psychology to become a psychologist because she wanted to learn more about like why she was fucked up. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're self-medicating and you're not getting help and you're not keeping track of things and you're not finding balance in your life, then it's easy to kind of lean into these bad tendencies or these bad habits that we all have, right? And this is like another reason why I keep the journal every day, because it's like if something like comes up, or if I felt something, or like if something made me angry or whatever, like I want to write it down, I want to remember it. And like if I did something or I reacted in a way I didn't like, I want to reflect on that so I can work to not do that again, kind of thing, or like be more in control the next time. And yeah, it's just like you know, I don't know if normal people feel good when they do something nice for someone, but like you know, it's one of those things where it's like I acknowledge it, but like I'm not like gleeful, I'm not like super, like I have some pride to it, but it's not connected to any kind of emotion, if that makes sense. Like my buddy, well, I won't say their names, but anyway, like I have a Japanese friend, and she married one of my gaijin buddies, and they met at a party that I went to, because I had met them at 2 different parties, and I invited them to another party I went to, and they met up there, and they got married, and they have 3 kids now. Like they're still living in Japan. They're in East Tokyo, and it's like if I hadn't set them up, and I didn't even set them up, I just invited them to the party. I didn't know that they were going to talk to each other. I didn't know they were going to meet up, but it's like I literally changed their lives, you know? Like I did that, and I'm like, okay, cool, you know? Like I don't like want to pull that out of my wallet or something when I do something like that. But I remember a long time ago, somebody who I had a falling out with that I'm cool with now, saw somebody who I had been talking to in public or whatever, and he was like, Sam's a piece of shit, fuck that guy. And that person that they were talking to was like, what are you talking about? Like, Sam helped me get a visa in Japan. Like, immigration had been fucking up my visa, my, what do you call it, the COE. They hadn't been sending it out, and they said they'd been sending it out. But, like, Sam had his friend Tetsu come with me to the fucking immigration, and they were able to figure out that problem. I wouldn't have been able to do that on my own. But, like, thanks to Sam just doing this, like, nice gesture, like, I'm physically able to stay in the country now. And it's like, when was the last time you did something nice like that for anybody, you know? And like, that's the thing too. It's like, people, I think when you're already in a bad mood or you're feeling bad, it's easy for people that don't like you to like manipulate your feelings so you feel worse, kind of thing. And I think that's another reason why it's like, you don't need to, again, like, I don't know if people feel great when they do something nice for somebody, because I feel like you're more doing that for the dopamine hit versus just the intention of like, you're doing it because you're helping this person, you know, and like, it's just a thing to do. It's like you're fixing a problem, you know, and you know you could fix it, so you're fixing it, you know. And it's I don't know, I feel like it's like some of the most judgmental people that hate on people are usually the ones that don't do any shit themselves, right? Like, they don't go out of their way to help people themselves, right? And, like, I don't help people for, like, acknowledgement or anything. It's just, like, if there's somebody in front of me that I care about that has a problem, and I know I can fix it, and it doesn't take that much work for me to fix it, like, to be like, oh, yeah, here, this is what you gotta do, then, like, I don't mind, right? You know, I always tell my friends that I'm like, I'm not gonna help you move, but I will help you find like a moving company or something, right? Like, I won't go out of my way to like spend all my day like physically helping you, but I will, I'll help you make the process easier. And I think if you're saying like somebody's like a narcissist or like a sociopath. They help people, or they never help people, or they only help people to further their cause or whatever, and they're not loyal. And I think that's I don't know, for me it's like I'm very loyal, you know? And that's why it's like you know, I feel that it's just a growing process, in my opinion, like saying this as an older man now, that it's like there are going to be people in your life that you help. And like, I'm not saying I have been a saint my whole life, right? But there are people, I think I've helped more people than hurt people, you know? And it's just like, there will be people in your life that you helped at a certain point and they didn't care. In fact, like, they maybe get angry and they hate you for some other reason afterwards, right? And it's so funny because like people on Reddit would be like, well, that just sounds like a narcissist justifying their behavior. And it's like, no. Like, you know, if we are going to be technical about this and we write down on paper all the good things versus any of the bad things I do, and then like write down a percentage of how bad or how good that stuff is, I think I can genuinely say on paper that I've been a very good guy and I've helped a lot of people, you know? But there are times where it's like I'm feeling like shit. Like if somebody died or something, I see somebody talking shit and I'm like, oh man, like maybe I am a piece of shit. And it's like, nah, dude, like you got to always remember. I mean, like, this is why, again, it's so important to surround yourself with people that appreciate your help and like they want to reciprocate, not because you ask them to, but because they want to do it, because they see value in your friendship. They see that like you're a good guy. They want to help out, you know? And yeah, and it's just you're gonna, like I said, like you're gonna grow up and you're gonna help people, and they, you know, some of them might not give a shit, and some of them might even turn on you or be angry or talk shit, but like it's gonna happen. I think like if that's one thing you know, like there's only, I don't really like ever think like, oh man, I wish I could have said this to my younger self or whatever, because I like who I am now, and I am who I am because of the shit I've gone through. But if there's one thing, I think I would have saved myself a lot of stress and anxiety if I had just said that to my younger self, being like, there's people that you're gonna help that are gonna turn out to be like pieces of shit later on, and you just got to deal with it, you know? And I'm not even just talking about like friends and people in general. I mean like people at work, you know, like people that like you barely know, like at events or something, you know? It's like, it reminds me of like the Mexican Samurai. I don't know if that's his YouTube name anymore, but he was talking about when he was driving one day, he saw this couple get out of a car like in the middle of the road. They like pulled over, and like the boyfriend started beating the girlfriend, and then like he gets out of the car and he grabs the boyfriend. He's like, hey, get off her. And like he's restraining the boyfriend, and then the girlfriend came over, she jumped on him and she's like, don't you touch my boyfriend. And he's like, what the fuck, like I was helping you. And she's like, yeah, fuck you. And it's like, yeah, some people just don't want to be helped, right? But you know, it's funny because it's just like one of the characters I really like from the TV show is like Dexter. But Dexter is supposed to be a psychopath, right? And I think they kind of misdiagnose the character, or they purposely like change things of his of like the characters. Like they're blending too much of the same, of like two things when it should in reality only be one thing, right? And it's like Dexter's this character who because he saw his mom get violently murdered in front of him when he's younger, he becomes like a psychopathic killer, but he has like a moral code. Which, I mean, to be fair, in the book, he is a straight-up psycho killer, and he's not as relatable or nice or like a good person in the book versus, I mean, I think there was only one book. There might be multiple, but I think there was only one. But because I only read one. But in the book, he's like a piece of shit, and like he really just is just like going on autopilot. But in the TV show, I really like the character because he is loyal to the people that he cares about. He is social, like he understands, like even though he doesn't feel things, like he maintains relationships. Like, you know, he cares about his girlfriend. You know, he doesn't care at first, but he starts to care then. He cares about his kids. He cares about his coworkers. Like he has like a moral sense of justice, but also he sees a flawed system that doesn't actually go all the way to really punish the people that are hurting people that had nothing to do with shit. So he takes care of it. Like, you know, there's a practical, like, he sees, like, he notices and he realizes that, like, he has this need, like this bloodlust, but he uses it in a way that's practical, that helps other people, right? And you know, I think that, I don't know about a lot of us, but it's like, for me, like, I've always gone through institutions, you know, like schools, work, whatever, right? And like, I'll see this bullshit and I'll just be like, yeah, I'll just it's like that it's like that scene in Friday where it's like, Depot come around and he'd be like, shut the fuck up, and I'm like, I shut the fuck up, you know, but when he gone, you know, I'd be talking. It's like you learn to shut your mouth sometimes, and sometimes you can't just help it, right? And like, I remember just being in college and just being surrounded by these kids that, like, I knew that they were just like, they had, like, their parents told them to be there, but like, they didn't want to be there. They didn't care. It wasn't their money being spent. Like, they keep their rooms really dirty, and like, you know, they're in their like 6th year of college because their parents just keep paying for it. Like, I remember my buddy Isaac, he had this roommate named Ryan who was like his 6th year of like being a junior or something, and like, all he did was play WoW, and his room was just disgusting. It was all just used fucking pizza boxes and everything, and they had like roaches and rats in their house just because of him and his dirty ass room. And his parents were just like, they just paid for him to get out of the fucking house. They're like, we don't want to deal with him anymore, and like, our price is just paying for his tuition and housing. And I'm like, God. And I met so many people, I met more people like that than people that were struggling and paying for it themselves, like me, you know. And it's like, it's I don't know, I feel like even, I remember when I was an ALT in Tokyo at this company. A couple of the ALTs, they had gotten in trouble and arrested and deported for smoking weed. And it wasn't just like 1 or 2. It was like quite a few. And I remember we had to go to this police lecture that was very clearly stated and framed as like, this is an anti-drug thing to tell you guys why drugs are fucked up in Japan, and like, why not to do them or something. And a cop came, and then for like 55 minutes out of the 60-minute talk, all he did was talk about bicycles and why bicycle, like, you know, like riding a bicycle not the proper way is bad, and like, why you need to register your bicycle, and like, why you shouldn't drink you know, like, get drunk and ride your bicycle. Like, it was all bicycle related. And then for the last 5 minutes he talked about drug stuff. And I just remember being so frustrated because like, I had plans that day for something else, but it was a company mandated thing. I had to go to this, and if I wasn't, I was going to get in trouble. But meanwhile, I'm there and I see that like 5 other ALTs that like, they're not as good as their job. Like, you know, they're not as good at their job as me, you know, like, they barely show up to work. But they look good, you know, and like, the typical a white man kind of thing, right? And like, they're not there, but they've got like, you know, they are like, you know, they're good with HR, the people that are in charge of that stuff, so they're not going to get in trouble. But if I wasn't there, I would have gotten like reprimanded for it, right? And so I'm forced to go there on a day that I had plans just to hear this guy talk about fucking bicycles, when he's not even talking about the big issue was that like, English teachers got caught with weed. And I was just like, I got so frustrated at the end of it. And I was like, aren't we supposed to be talking about drugs right now? Like, 5 of the teachers or whatever got caught with weed, and we're talking about it. Like, isn't that what the fucking thing was supposed to be talking? Like, why are we here? You know, he got so frustrated. That's probably why I didn't get my contract renewed. I mean, one of the reasons why. But again, it's like, I think it is kind of, it is an issue of like nature versus nurture. Like, it is environment based to a certain extent, right? Like, I've been talking to my friend's younger brother who wants to move to Japan. He's kind of Aspergery IT guy, and he's like, I hate most social like interactions. It's all bullshit and like face value bullshit, and I get so tired and I get so bored, and people just talk and talk and talk. And I mean, like, he's a young guy and he's insecure. He's like never left their town or whatever, so you know, like, he's you know, he's having issues or whatever. But it's like one of those things where I'm like, well, the older you get, you realize, like, you see these patterns, and then you just make up an excuse, even if it's not true, and you're like, yeah, I gotta go. Sorry, I gotta get out of here. I got, you know, I have a meeting or something that I need to get to, but it was great talking to you, and we'll talk again, and then you never talk to them again, kind of thing. And I don't know, it's like when people say, like, well, sociopaths are great at, like, charming, they're good at lying, they have no problem lying, and I'm like, doesn't everybody who is a working professional, don't they do that? Like, especially, like, in Japan, like, you have to be nice even when you don't want to be nice. You have to kiss ass even when you don't want to kiss ass. If you need to get out somewhere, you don't say, sorry, you're boring me and I have to leave now. You make up an excuse to get out of there. And so it's like, isn't that very selective with saying stuff like that? Because, like, if you're, like, again, like, it's always, like, in a negative connotation. It's like always in like a negative kind of example for that, right? Like, you're doing this to hurt people, you're doing this to, like, make yourself feel better at the negative, like, you know, like, what is it, negatively benefiting, like, you know, is that a word? It's like, you know, the other people are getting hurt because, and that's how you're feeling better. And like, yeah, I mean, like, if you're doing that, then you're a piece of shit, right? But it's like, I feel that like, again, like, you don't need to go out of your way to fuck with people. I feel it's so funny, too, because it's like, you know, like, especially, like, people on, like, Reddit or, like, someplace, like, you know, just, like, online, like, there's people, like, YouTube comments or something. There are people that are very angry with their lives. They don't like their lives for whatever reason. And so, like, the way that they deal with it is that they're too much of cowards. I don't know if it's cowards, but, like, they don't know how to deal with it in real life, so they vent online, because they won't feel like they won't see the consequences of, like, their shitty behavior online. I think that's why a lot of haters are always afraid of getting doxxed, is because, like, they realize that if somebody saw what they were doing online, then they would get in a lot of trouble. Like, it would kill their, like, image of being, like, a nice neutral dude or something. And so, like, it's like anonymous hating or whatever. And I, like, don't get me wrong, I think it's good to have an internet. Like, in South Korea and China, like, you have to use your ID to, like, log on to the internet. And, like, so if you make an account and talk shit, like, they can track it back to you pretty quickly. And I don't agree with that. I don't think that's a good thing. But it's just like, so I'm for anonymous internet stuff, but it's just like, man, like, I'm not angry at these people. I'm just like, dude, like, you need to get your shit together, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, I was going through my old clips of stuff I had saved to put into YouTube videos, like, a couple years ago, and I've been going through that to, like, put into my compilation vlogs. And, like, a lot of the clips I'm not going to use just because they're old and dated, but I'm, like, reviewing them and stuff too. And I saw this, like, clip from these two guys talking shit about me on the internet. And of course, like, they're anonymous, they're not using, like, they're not showing their faces or whatever. But the whole basis of their argument was that I don't like Sam because he's not like me. I'm a mature adult. I have I have, like, property that I'm paying off. I have a mortgage that I'm paying off. I own vehicles. I'm married. I have a family. And, like, Sam is not like me. So, therefore, I don't like him because he's as old as me, but he's not doing the same thing that I'm doing. And I feel like I'm the righteous guy. And it's like, well, but you're hiding behind an anonymous avatar. And, like, if you don't like me, why are you watching so much of my shit? Like if you are so much better than me and you feel like you're, like, morally and just, like, in general, like lifestyle-wise superior to me, then wouldn't you be doing things that, like, that associate with that, I guess? I don't know. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, I think that there are, like, positive ways to vent or, like, let off steam, and then there's negative ways. And it's like, if you're going about your life being like, I need to feel better about myself, so I'm going to go on the internet and find people I don't like, and then I'm going to make that part of my discussion when I talk to people about, like, how cringe and, like, fucked up this person is, in my opinion, or something. I'm like, how is that, like, at all, like, masculine? How at all does that prove that you're, like, a really cool and, like, good person that has your shit together? Like, I don't know, man. It could be not just for, like, internet creators or something, but, like, imagine if somebody's like, yeah, like, they're you know, they're a general manager or something at like some company, and they're like, "Did you catch the Jerry Springer show this morning? God, those guys, they have sex with their cousins, like in their trailer park or something. Like, those guys are fucked up, you know." And it's like, yeah, that's weird, and I understand why you wouldn't like that, but like, why are you spending your time talking about this shit? It's weird. Yeah, and so I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not saying that I'm in a trailer park or whatever kind of thing, right? Sex with cousin, but it's like, you know, like these guys, they were saying that because I live in a guest house and I'm an older guy and I wear bandanas and stuff, and because I don't work a full-time job, I'm not as good as them. But it's like, it's always like cherry picking, right? It's like, well, you're not taking into the fact that I worked full-time 9 to 6 or whatever, like 9 to 7 Monday through Saturday for like a whole decade, you know. And like, I got permanent residency because I was working and I was contributing to society. So just because I chose to quote unquote like retire early or something, and I'm doing what I want, why does that affect you in any way? And why would you care, you know? And I don't know, it's just like, I think that like the whole summation of this is that like, I think that all of us have positive and negative parts to our like overall being, our personality or whatever, but it's what you do daily that matters, you know. It's like, are you hurting people? Are you affecting them negatively? Like that's the big thing. It's like, if you don't fuck with people unless they fucked with you, you know, in my opinion. And I mean like directly fucked with you, and like, you got to remember like, where did it start kind of thing, right? And it's like, I think that if you're affecting more people positively, like, you should, like, I remember I was talking about pickup artist stuff either during a live stream or during another rant, but it's like, you know, one of the ways that I felt better about myself, or, you know, like growing up, is like, you know, reading self-help book stuff, and you know, and like reading pickup artist stuff, because it's like, that was giving me actual fucking advice and like things I could use as a crutch, you know, to like get better at like being in social settings, get better at just like becoming a better man, you know. But like, I needed that, to give me that advice so I could do that, right? But you know, people always give pickup artists such a bad name, and I remember one of the first guys who helped mentor me in a way. He's like, I always have a rule, and he's like, always leave people better off than when you first found them. And if you're always trying to do that, like, where it's like, if it's the same thing as like a business relationship, you know, business is made to screw over the other people when you're working together, like where you get more and more than them, you know. It's like, that's what always a lot of businesses try to do. But it's like, if you try to give more for relationships or working stuff, and then somebody's a piece of shit to you later, you don't need to question if you're a bad person or not, because like, you know deep in your heart that you contributed more to that relationship in a positive way than the other person did, and probably they know that, and the way that they're coping with that is by talking shit, is by like doing like negative stuff or whatever, you know. And I remember like Casey Neistat said like hurt people, right? It's like people that like are doing good, that like want, like, you know, they're there because like, you don't need to be like a fucking like what do you call it, like a doctor curing cancer, or like a giant philanthropist to help people, but it's like, you know, if you've been hurt or something, people cope with that by hurting other people, by harassing other people or whatever. And it's like the best thing to do is not engage with them. And I guess that's the kind of like the overall theme of this video, is that like you know, like, this meeting could have been a fight. And it's like, when you're younger, you kind of want, you know, the African meme of like, I don't want peace, I want problems. But the older you get, you realize how much limited time you got left on the planet, and you'd rather spend it around people who appreciate you for what you're doing. And you try to just make every fucking interaction, you know, at least if you can, like a positive one. So, because it's just, you don't got time for that, you know. All these people, they're eventually going to find something negative to you know, clash onto or whatever, and they're going to get all pissed off. But it's like, you don't need to be part of that, you know. Like, just focus on you and the people you care about, and just doing good, you know. And yeah, I guess, I don't know. What do you guys think down below? I was rambling quite a bit today for this, but I feel like I was on point for most of this. I don't know. Anyway, you guys let me know in the comments down below if I was on point for this shit. And, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. That was a funny thumbnail with the honey badger, and I wanted to talk about something like that because, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are insecure, especially young people. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you got a problem with me, then call me, or well, no one uses phones anymore, but it's like, if you got a problem with me, you know, come talk to me. And it's like, oh, if like I'm not gonna meet you in person, then you're not somebody who knows me well enough to have a problem with me, kind of thing, right? And so yeah, guys, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you should care about what people think, but only the people that you care about first, because those are the ones whose opinions really matter. And I feel like, you know, when you're young and you're on the internet and you're seeing all these people and stuff, like, you gotta stay focused. You gotta stay grounded. And you can't just let, like, you know, people say things about you and make you feel bad. I don't know. Anyway, point is, honey badgers kick ass. And don't forget to smash the like button, hit the subscribe bell, and subscribe button to get notified. Blah, 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 blah. And I forgot to do a super thanks or a super chat, a shout out today, so I'll probably do that in the next one. But yeah, guys, like always, thanks so much for the love and support. And I'll probably do a live stream after this, so stay tuned for the URL that's going to be at the end of this in the chat or in the comment section. And yeah, you guys have a good day. Stay black, and I will talk to you later. Otskara sama deshita.